This story was posted by Reddit user u/Timberwolf20023_5, the ghost child of Dawn Village. Hello everyone. Let me tell you a sad yet heartwarming story of a boy that died at Dawn Village. You see, back before my time, when these apartments were new, there lived a boy that lived at one of these newly built apartments. The boy, being only 5 at the time, loved to ride his tricycle, and he rode it every day. As carefree as the child was, he didn't know that on the day of June 1st, that it would be his last ride. And on that fateful day, a man drunk as he can be sped through the parking lot on his truck and struck the child on his tricycle, taking his life instantly. Now, it is said that the spirit of the child haunts those apartments alone. During the dark hours of the night, you could hear the squeak of his tricycle and his mangled body riding on it, as he did in life. The child would try to reach out to the living by moving objects, knocking and walking for the home of anyone who would show him attention and showing himself. But he shouldn't be feared, for he is a friendly spirit to all. Now, you may ask, how do you know this? Well, that's because I, myself, have been living at the same apartments he passed at many years ago for almost 20 years, and I've befriended the lonely spirit. I've named him Casper. Even though his life was cut short, he's not mad or angry, but at peace with his new, corporeal form. Thank you all for reading.
The Thing I Ran Into by Timberwolf. This happened quite a few years ago when I was in secondary school, before middle school when I was 11. I'm almost 20 now and still don't know who or what I ran into. This is my story. Now, let me give you some context. I lived in Grant County in Washington in a little town called Yorktown. This town is strange from time to time. Old ASS building, haunted buildings, and strange creatures. You know, the whole wazoo. I've lived here all my life and have a few experience with the unknown. And don't write bizarre, and was no explanation. Now let's get into it. After school one night, I stayed for the after-school program and had a blast with my buddies. After it was all over, my buddies were picked up by their parents, and I was the only one left at the school, so I decided to walk. I lived at my grandparents' house at the time, which wasn't really that far away, about 10 blocks. It was dark, and after saying goodbye to my teacher that was hosting the program, I started to heading to the house. So I was nearly the first block when I felt something off and couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. At first, I thought it was just my nerves playing tricks on me. I mean, I was always not too comfortable with the dark, and finally managed to calm down and kept walking on, picking up the pace as I did. As I was walking, I was nearly the third block. I had gotten the feeling again, and it felt stronger to be being the 11-year-old at the time. I stopped to try to see who or what was watching me. We have mountains, lions, and crickets here, so I kept my eyes open just in case. Again, finding nothing, I started to walk again until I reached a block that had a tennis court on it with a super small dumpster. As I walked by, I noticed something was on top of the dumpster. Again, it was dark, but so I couldn't see what was on the top of the dumpster. But it was being like really big, and I don't know why, but I felt like it was staring at me. Yes, like in a dumb ASS horror movie character. I decided to try to get a closer look at the things. As I started to walk closer to it, I made out more and more, and it was covered in hair, and I think I had a snout, but I don't know. It was sitting on the dumpster with its arms in front of it. It had a growing reflect eyes and smelled kind of funny at this time point. It had moved a slight bit, making the dumpster creak, and looked fully at me and growled to a deep, dramatic growl that That's when I started to sprint away. I was around 3 to 4 blocks away from my grandparents' house and didn't want to stop. As soon as I was there, I busted through the front door and slammed it behind me. My grandma tried to calm me down, and I said what I saw, but sadly she didn't believe me and still don't believe me. I believed that night the thing I had marked me because for the last few years it pops up time to time either far or sometimes right outside my house. I've always thought I just imagined it, but sadly I don't think I did. Right around 2 years after the whole situation, I was living at my house with my parents and I was sleeping in my room downstairs right around 1 to 2 a.m. I was woken up to an instant pounding sound on my window. I just kept it in my bed until it stopped. My parents through it was the neighbors. I've lived in an apartment complex, so that put it easy a bit. Maybe it was just more kids being ASS hats or something, I don't know. So I went back to sleep. The next morning I woke up and I got ready for school and went out waiting for the bus when one of my neighbors walked up and asked if I was alright, and I asked why, and they said because I heard something outside and peeked out and saw something pounding on the window. I froze and asked if it was a person. They said, I don't know, but it looked big, and ever since then I slept upstairs. I'm not sure if it follows me till this day, but I haven't seen or heard anything else. So yeah, that's my story. You don't have to believe me, but I just want to share my experience with you guys, and maybe someone can tell me what the hell I ran into.